Man, the copper update looks great, but when is this coming out? Great question, Snowmeep. The official answer from Mojang and the Minecraft wiki is simply question mark, which isn't very helpful, but what is going into the game files where you can see that it's called Full Drop 2025, meaning we know this update will come out between September and November, which again isn't that wildly useful, but what are the next two data points you might not have realized. The first is the release date of the last 3 drops. It's been in the first month of its quarter, meaning we know the copper drop and all of its features are most likely coming in September, but the second data point gives us even more information, but I'll go into that right after the most exciting weird announcement Mojang made, because hello, I'm AviaxToyCat, and this is Q&A Saturday, the weekly series where I answer your questions about Minecraft updates, life, the universe, and everything in between, and indeed get them through the Minecraft news that has appeared over the week, because simply yesterday, Minecraft just put out a community post that said "we" and then had this GIF attached. I didn't know you could put GIFs in community posts, to be honest, but what also is surprising is you can see the sheep is flying into space, which implies they are using the minecart experiment, which currently is behind a toggle and not meant to be part of the base game, but here's Minecraft sharing a post using it. But what makes this even more interesting is the fact that you can see it might not be that experiment because of the fact that there are 2 villagers in the background which are clearly moving at different paces. They are both on minecart rails which are going around a singular post, and so why would the villager on the left be going so much faster than the one on the right, unless for some reason he either had the minecart experiment set to faster, or maybe he had a type of rail that could allow him to go faster. Something a lot of people in the community have been excited for is the idea of having a minecart system that uses copper rails, since it's a conductor which could move faster than a regular powered rail, and so what if the minecart experiment could be coming to the base game via this? This is something that is very enticing, and I want to believe that it's true, but I also think that the truth isn't determined based on what you want to believe, it's determined based on what is likely true, and in this case you can see that although this would be a great hint, and back in the day I'm sure it would have been, Minecraft do just have social media people who clearly aren't that attached to the rest of the company, and so usually when it seems like they are making some giant hint, it's actually just the guy on the social media team having a lot of fun, trying to attract a Gen Alpha audience by posting weird zany things, and in this case that's what this might be. It's not a guarantee that we're going to see copper rails or copper minecarts inside of the copper drop, and as much as I want it to be true, I just don't think that it necessarily is. Speaking of the copper drop, by the way, I mentioned we had a more accurate read on its release date, and so right after I read this comment about Waterwall saying, why does the subscribe plug at 040, or in this video, right here, wow, you can subscribe to the channel, perhaps turn notifications on, why does it say 1.99 subscribers when the current amount is 1.93? This is a question I've had a few times, and although I'd love to start by saying we're actually about to hit 1.94 million, I love these tiny milestones, it's been a while since we started hitting them, but also I'd like to say that, yeah, the reason that we have the subscribe plug be slightly higher than the real number is because of the fact that otherwise you have to update it every time you hit a 10,000 subscriber milestone, and a lot of people will notice that the number is outdated. They'll be like, wow, why is that number lower than your actual one? But a lot of people don't notice when it's higher than your real number, and so by setting it to 1.99, we kind of have a bit of longevity, which is one of the easiest benefits for it. So keeping the animation the same while still keeping the point that maybe you should subscribe if you want to see more content is something that I think is great, but I also think it's only fair if I ask people to subscribe that I deliver on what they might have clicked the video to see. So just in case you want to know an exact release date, well, that's a lot to ask, Jared, but in terms of what we know so far, Minecraft 1.21.110, the current update going through beta and preview, will have the copper drop inside of it. That's because this full drop 2025 toggle that I showed you earlier has actually been disabled now, and all of that content is in the base update itself. That tells us that when this update finishes its beta preview cycle, it will go to Mojang, and when that update ends up with all of us, that will have the copper drop inside, which means it probably is going to be September, but maybe even earlier than we think. How much earlier than we think? Well, I think we can actually look at one of my favorite spreadsheets that we put together on this channel, but basically it tells you the time between when an update first comes out, has its first beta and preview, and when it finally comes out, and for the last 3 updates, every single one of them, it has been 8 weeks from that first preview till the end, and so if you want a really early idea as to when the update's coming out, let's say that maybe you have to book some travel and you want to make sure you're home for the update, what a crazy situation that would be. But if that was you, then 8 weeks from the 22nd of July 2025 would in fact be September 16th 2025, and that is when you could say, as a very rough estimate, when we are currently expecting the update. Now here are the things that could potentially change this, and this is why it's not a confirmed release date yet. First of all, it could be that the copper drop has a shorter, although more likely longer development cycle, So it could be that it requires more than 5 betas. It could be that it requires 6 or 7 because they keep wanting to add features like copper rails or like, I saw this idea for a copper bucket that we'll come into later, but what if they want to have these fun things in the game? And so the answer is to when it's coming out is September 16th is a good guess for now, but it will all depend on what comes in the next few betas and previews. But yeah, this has been an amazingly fast drop to go from we literally just got everything surprising us July 1st, now we're the first week into August and the update is almost finished. This is the crazy speedy world of Minecraft updates as we see them now, and yeah, there's lots of things that could change, but for now, middle of September is looking like when we're going to see this end update, assuming that it doesn't get delayed until 0.120 or so, but that is very unlikely. But there are lots of things that could change. But in the next couple of weeks, we're going to know the actual end release date for sure, which is kind of crazy to say, right? Anyway, speaking of things that are kind of crazy to say, I want to bring up Mike and Dyke's comment here because they say, so the Minecraft community complained that copper wasn't useful enough, Mojang adds more copper stuff, and now the community complains about too much. What a nice community. There's been quite a few attacks of this type, you know, people saying like the Minecraft community genuinely hates the game, and it's become a bit of a meme that the Minecraft community does hate Minecraft, but it's something I want to explain because when people say the Minecraft community, obviously they don't mean the entire thing, and by that I don't mean like, oh, it's just Java and Bedrock players, although to be fair, how many people are hating on the 3DS edition? No one says that they hate it. Okay, one person says that they hate it, but like truthfully, it is mostly people who follow updates because, and specifically people who follow updates and are really deep into the world of modded Minecraft. People expect you to play Minecraft like this, and they set their expectations based on modded content, which is not necessarily reliable, doesn't need to be cross-platform, doesn't need to consider future update potential and all that sort of stuff, and then they can compare that to the base game and say, wow, these people achieve a lot more, and I specifically think that the real like level of brain rot on this goes to TikTok, where actually if you look at any Minecraft post on TikTok, there's always a swarm of people that are just in there being like, oh, add guns to your game, why isn't this in Bedrock yet, add vertical slabs, and it's like, you know, I hate to say this, Henrik Dummy, and the 1,820 people who agree with your all caps comment, but literally shelf blocks are the closest thing we have to vertical slabs. Someone complained about the literal feature Minecraft were announcing, and this is oh too common for certain parts of the social internet, and so I would just be cautious if you ever think that the Minecraft community hates the game. The overwhelming majority of people do actually like it. It's just that more and more there's a vocal minority that dislikes it for arguing that it's lazy. I mean, a lot of people would say like, how is it that we have all of these new copper features but not insert my favorite copper idea here? But I want to bring this up by I want to share this you know, copper bucket idea. It's from LightRock97, and they say it's a copper bucket that you can use for lava only 2 times, or if you use it for water, it immediately oxidizes. But like, if the copper bucket came into the game, would you ever use it? Would it ever have any use whatsoever? And this is the problem that I think Minecraft has when adding, say, copper rails. If they make copper rails so much better than regular rails, or than powered rails in this case, that no one would ever want to use them, then what would be the point of having both blocks? Even though it's a good solution for compatibility, that is to say they can't break your existing Minecraft builds, they also need to consider actual balance and not just massively overpowering things that already exist. This is why when you look at new weapons that have been added, like the crossbow, the mace, or the trident, they're all very niche and weird in their own way, because Minecraft doesn't want to replace the diamond sword, except with the netherite sword, please ignore that. But like, I think what's really interesting is the idea, but even then actually, because of netherite, a lot of people now don't see diamond tools as the end, they see netherite tools, and that huge shift is something that we're going to see to some small extent in this update with copper armor. Adding that is quite brave, because now, why would you ever craft leather armor? Leather is harder to get, in 24 quantities at least, than copper is, and so yeah, there's so many big questions about it. It just makes me want to do like a copper only run now that we've got so many features. Although, speaking of new features, did you know 1.21.100 has officially added the void flat? This is something I made a short about last week, and it got 2 million views in the span of a week, and a lot of comments I'd like to briefly read out, such as Ketchup PD saying, Minecraft, you can't survive this world type, Toycat, and I took that personally, sounds like a grown man, but he's playing Minecraft, that's a deal breaker. It's funny, I went to a Roblox event this week, no one there had played Roblox, which was interesting, but at that event I spoke to a lot of people, and either they loved Minecraft, or they were like, oh, Minecraft, yeah, that's the game my kids play, and so it's fun. Garrett Thorne, you are apparently not alone in having that assumption, but yeah, in case you aren't aware, I am a grown man, and I am playing Minecraft. I'm sorry if that's a deal breaker, but if it's not, you might be excited to know that Void Flat did come to Minecraft in the update this Tuesday, and so now we can actually choose to play it, we can actually actually choose to survive it, which is silly because it's so grindy and hard. And okay, you know what, this is an announcement. If they put it in the game, it's only fair I play it, and so I'm going to be streaming Void Flat live on Monday. Come and check out my stream on Monday at the usual stream time, about 7 p.m. in the UK. Google that if you want to know your time zone, and come and watch me be the first person, presumably, to actually try and do this in survival. It is a ridiculous mess, but you know what? If we've proven that you can do it in the beta, now we need to prove you can do it in the base game. Speaking of the base game, by the way, I got a lot of fun comments this week suggesting things like, well, your thumbnail reminds me, I don't know how at all, but I put the thumbnail in this image anyway, that why can't we have layers of depth for the way that torches work? So if torches go out every 3 minutes, you have to advance the lanterns to... Okay, no, that's another bad idea. But maybe what is a good idea is why can't we make sticky pistons with honey as well as slimes? And indeed, this reminded me of something I saw on the subreddit recently, which was please share your dumbest Minecraft mistake. Mine was not realizing you couldn't uncraft a honeycomb block back into 4 honey. I couldn't make them look good anywhere, and so they've got a bunch of honeycomb they just can't use. I love this sort of content, and thank you to Diggin' Mama for posting that. But yeah, with that said, I've got just a couple of things left to share. One of these is from Oh Hits That One Dude. It was also a comment that I really appreciated, saying, I'm really disappointed that most Minecraft viewers are sleeping on this legendary channel. You really deserve billions of channel views. And first of all, that's a very big compliment, and wow, you worked your way into Q&A Saturday. You solved it. You worked out that if you just compliment me enough, apparently I'll read out your comment. But there is a comment here that, yeah, I deserve billions of views, but you might not know this, I don't have a billion channel views, except, technically speaking, we have 0.8, which is way more than I realized. 868 million views on the IBX Toycat channel over the past 13 years. But what's interesting is technically 0.8 of something is a plural amount of it. Like if you have 1 cat, you have 2 cats, you have 0.8 cats. So I have 0.8 billions of views, which is absolutely crazy, and I can't believe that your comment came true. Thank you, Oh Hits That One Dude. More seriously, I did also get a funny comment this week saying you should be a stand-up comedian, and you know what? Okay then. So what's the deal with Minecraft updates, am I right? You know, they release a big one and everyone's cheering. But the truth is there's always complaints. There's always people who say, oh yeah, this one's not what I like. Okay, maybe I don't have a career in doing that, but what I do have a career in doing is indeed talking about Minecraft updates and kind of giving insightful and hopefully thoughtful dives into these. And Dark Ice Yoga gave me a really interesting one to talk about because they say this comes back to communication. I love how they've toned down ruining an update by announcing every little thing, but they don't announce the scope of it or share their thoughts enough now. It's probably due to the backlash they got with Fireflies, but I wish they would make more effort to talk and share their thoughts. This is the important thing. I think that Minecraft went too far by announcing a whole year's worth of content in advance, and now we've gone the opposite way where genuinely we don't know what they're announcing next week. The last feature that Minecraft announced more than 24 hours in advance I think would have to be the Happy Ghast or Vibrant Visuals, but both of these features were added just a couple of weeks later, and then we were back to the point of not knowing what Mojang's future plans were. This is a good thing in terms of hype, but it also means that we want to know the kind of vibe for what Mojang is doing with each of these. I mean, there's a whole comment here that I won't read out to you, but I'll simply say that, like, is it true that Mojang has different teams working on different drops? We don't know. Is it true that Minecraft has a big focus for one drop, and if they have other ideas that now work, like, say, gold doors or gold bars, that they're not going to implement them to another one? Or is it that they have some really good reason that gold bars can't come to Minecraft? We don't know unless Mojang says, and outside of their very helpful developer notes, where they explain what they've done after the fact, we don't get to hear developers' thoughts on what they're doing because we don't have the Minecraft live panels. We don't have those announcements, and I think that that's something that Mojang could do a decent job on fixing, because too much communication might be a bad thing for some people, but too little communication definitely can cause its own problems too. Speaking of too little communication, I've been talking to you for close to 14 minutes now. I hope you've all enjoyed it, and if you have, make sure to check out my live stream on Void Flat on Monday. Is it a good idea? No. Am I gonna do it anyway? You better believe that describes a lot of this channel, because I hope you've all enjoyed. I hope you help me get to 1.99 million so that the subscribe animation becomes correct. And otherwise, thank you very much for watching. I'm going to go to a stag and a hen party at the same time, because I'm friends with the bride and the groom. And then tomorrow I'm gonna go climb a Welsh mountain. My knee's a little wonky still, so I hope that goes well. But then on Monday, things will be great. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you next time. Bye.